Hi there, this is Kevin Moffat, and my ministry is Manna Art, and I'm doing, this is the first of what I hope to be many quick little videos. They're called Manna Nuggets, and these are little pieces of what I hope will be revelatory to you, and because they're certainly revelatory to me. And every time I've taught about them, they have shown to be thoroughly revelatory. In fact, this is the second time I'm trying to record this, and because I got engaged in the creative function that I was doing, it went too long. So that's what happens when I start teaching, speaking on these things. Normally, when I teach, my first concern is teaching about learning how to listen. But I felt strongly that my first Manna Nugget should be about inspiration. So let me do a little advertising first. I have a couple websites, but it's all getting honed down into one at mannaart.com. And I don't know if you've ever seen me paint before, but I paint during worship, and I call it spontaneous prophetic ministry. The painting is spontaneous in nature. I certainly honor other prophetic artists that work just in studio. I have some dear friends that's all they do is write in studio. But I haven't been until very recently, in this pretty darn close to 30 years, I have not really had a heart to paint in studio. In other words, when I've tried, and I certainly have tried, it just doesn't engage with me. And so primarily when I paint, it's during worship, at conferences and prayer times, and circumstances that I've been invited to. And that's where it is for me. That's how I've been built, so to speak, by the kingdom to paint during worship. So I've started, besides having several Facebook pages and an Instagram, which is Kevin Moffat _ Manna Art, MANNAART.com. I also have a website that's for Patreon, Patreon, and you look up Manna Art / Kevin Moffat. And that is so others can help me do what I do for ministry. And hopefully you're one of those people that can do that. You can go there and you can check in and see how that works. Basically, you can commit to several different levels or one-time blessing of helping me financially. So please go there and check that out and see if you can do that part. So the websites will be all set up very soon now, and you could also go there and see about my products. That would also help me financially as well. You can buy hand-painted silk scarves there, and also I do some very large dancing shawls as well. And then Manna Art specifically has, it's going to be close to 400 different paintings that I've done over the years. So that's, how much faithfulness that he has. And the original paintings will be also offered in print, several different sizes. And I'll, eventually look at different levels of those prints as well at some point. So also in there will be Manna Tees. Now these are a set of several different paintings that I've done that I had hand silk screened. Very high-end product, and there's a few totes there as well. So if, when you can, please check that out. It's mannaart.com. So let me get going on this, on inspirations, and which is really something that I feel that whether you're in the kingdom or outside of the kingdom, we all look to be inspired. Now, prayerfully, I hope that it is by the throne that you do get your inspiration, because that means that you're not just spinning your wheels and wasting your time doing things that are okay, but really the inspiration that we need to be seeking is right from the throne. I believe all true creativity is sourced right from the throne. So thereby, learning how to listen for that is principle, primary in that. But inspiration is truly something that we should all seek to be inspired. So I consider my job to be a builder of the presence of God, which is what I do in conferences as well. I go there, I'm invited there to decorate quite often, and I bring banners and flags and things. And this is something that the original creative guy, so to speak, second to God, was Bezalel. The first person obviously was God when he said, let there be light. And he did that out of nothing. So my heart has always been to create things from, not from other things that have been already going on. Yes, I use materials and things that are already here, but I don't step into a painting with a preconceived notion. I sometimes might have an idea of what I'd like to paint, but when I'm working in such a manner, it very quickly becomes apparent that what I think is going to happen has nothing to do with what's on his heart. Quite often, it's a rare occasion when it ends up being something that I may have thought it might be. So what is it that we're after? Not just creative people, but every person on the planet is after this. Is it not to be inspired, to be lifted up and out of everyday circumstances, to be touched by God, and when we're touched by Him, yes, it deeply affects us, but it also touches and blesses everyone around us. Let's look at the definition. And here's something that I find really amazing, is that Webster's defines inspiration in such a manner. It really kind of surprised me when I first looked it up. Inspiration, 1A, a divine influence or action on a person held to qualify him or her to receive and communicate sacred revelation. Those inspirational things are sacred revelation. What counts is how we flesh that out and what we claim is that source. B, the action or power of moving the intellect or emotions. And that's what happens as you create. You're affecting other people with what you're creating. That's why it really needs to be in the kingdom. And the act of influencing or suggesting opinions. And then 2A, the act of drawing in, the drawing in of air to the lungs. Spirit, inspiration, in the Spirit. Now I could just say, I rest my case right there. But just in case you're not convinced of what we really need to be considering and who we need to be getting inspiration from, let me continue. Consider what happens when the Lord of Heaven comes into your space. How do you react when there's an emphatic word from the Lord that breaks open over you? Are you not inspired? So I'll give you a snippet of my story. I just gotten out of a rehab. This is years ago when I was in an extremely bad place. This is 30 years ago to be more exact. And I was screaming at God, and I was screaming at someone I didn't have a relationship with. And in an instant, he let himself be known to me. And I was walking home, not driving because I didn't have a license. And on the way home, I was just awestruck and blown away because when he made himself known to me, all the stars like in my face. And he said, I'm right here. And I was undone. Now, in the time of walking home, things were just coming off of me. You know, all my frustrations and all the pains that I'd had and the circumstances that I'd been in were just being maneuvered and reorganized. And when I got home, I didn't realize that I had been crying so hard that icicles formed on my beard. I mean, they were long icicles. I was crying that hard. So I knew something very dynamic had just happened. Confirmation after confirmation, actually. So I was so heavily impacted that I had to do something with it. This is the point that I'm getting at when inspiration comes. When I get inspired to paint, I have to do something with it. I can't just leave it there. I have to do, you know, and my function is a creative function. I have to paint. Your function is something that you need to, you know, be with and learn about and or exemplify that. So when Jesus, the Word, shows up, things happen. God spoke the word, let there be light, and there was light. Is this not inspired? That speaks to me is when light is released in the darkness, color became present also. God speaks, speaking suggests sound. Sound is vibration. Vibration translates into both light and color. And any one of these, sound, vibration, and color, does not exist without the other. So that, in essence, is what happens when inspiration comes. It causes things to come into being. It causes you to speak creatively. You cannot just let it not happen. True inspiration causes things to happen that weren't there previously. All right, so that's the snippet that I'm getting at for this Manna Nugget. This will be Manna Nugget number 1. There are going to be bunches of these, and hopefully I can try to help to make sure that they don't get too long, because I want you to be able to keep getting inspired, keep tuning in and seeing where we go with these things. So I hope this blesses you, and as it blesses me, because I'm starting to get really keyed into this and may have to do a couple of these very quickly. So please go to my website, mannaart.com, or you can email me at kevin@mannaart.com, MANNAART.com. Or you can go to my Instagram page for this. It's Kevin Moffat _mannaart.com. Or if you really feel like you could get behind what I'm doing and help me do more of what I do, please go to the Patreon website, PATREON and .com, and look up Manna Art /Kevin Moffat. Okay, bless you big.